What's up, guys? I'm the East Coaster fan, and today we are here to mourn the loss and explore the legacy of Muppet Vision 3D, which opened in 1991 at Disney's MGM Studios, now Disney's Hollywood Studios, and closed recently on June 8th, 2025. Now, there's a lot to talk about with this attraction, ranging from the legacy to my own personal thoughts on the situation, to my own thoughts on what I thought the ride was like. But to begin this rip video, I want to just make the point clear that this was more than just a typical Disney attraction. If you guys didn't know, Muppet Vision 3D represented the very last thing Jim Henson ever did with the Muppets. He saw this ride in its completion, filming it, puppeteering, voicing Kermit, all those things. So Muppet Vision 3D is widely considered among fans to be really the last holistic work that Jim Henson ever did. And for it to exist at a park like Disney's Hollywood Studios for so long is quite astounding, honestly. It's really the culmination of what made the Muppets at that point in time. And you could argue that after this point, they've been steadily declining in popularity over the years. Now, don't get me wrong, the Muppets still has its fans. I mean, look at how many people showed up for the closing day. But I think the overall decline in popularity and in pop culture is what made the Disney executives choose to close this attraction. Now, do I think this is right? It's hard to say for now, but I'm not really the biggest fan of closing this attraction right now. In fact, with it being tied to the legacy of Jim Henson, I think it should be in a similar state as some of the attractions that are so intrinsically linked to Walt Disney. So we'll see where that leads Muppet Vision going forward. Whether it's moved to another part of the park in Disney's Hollywood Studios, moved to another Disney park entirely, or the executives just decide to drop it on Disney Plus or VR, which, yes, is preserving the film, but is it really? I mean, look at Muppet Vision 3D. Yes, it was the film, and yes, it had the 3D, but it was really a 360 experience. You could watch the movie normally, yes, and experience all the effects in the theater, but there are so many extra details to Muppet Vision 3D that really made it arguably one of the best 3D shows in any theme park. Take, for instance, the animatronics of the Penguin Band and Chef, who is operating the camera for Muppet Vision 3D. If you look at some scenes during the show, such as the Miss Piggy song, the penguins are playing the song exactly, including the penguin that's playing the song when the bee's on screen. You can see a penguin play the violin really fast. Same goes for when the cannons and guns are shot at the end of the show. You can look back and see the animatronic of Chef. And let's not forget the amazing technology that was in the theater itself, with all the fiber optics on the ceiling, the animatronics of Statler and Waldorf and Bean Bunny, and the destruction of the theater. Comparing how the theater looks when you walk in versus walking out, it's completely different. And remember, this was all done in 1991, so the show has not only really kept up with its technology, but has really remained timeless during that whole period. So I think this is why Muppet Vision 3D has really garnered a following amongst Disney fans and Muppet fans alike. And with this, Muppet Vision also had its own mini area, Muppet Courtyard. Now, this wasn't the fully realized version of this land. In fact, there was supposed to be a Great Muppet movie ride, if you can believe it or not. But this area was still nice, and it was the only area in a Disney park that was really like this. You had the Fountain of Miss Piggy as the Statue of Liberty. You had a really cool store and artwork that was really tying the themes of Jim Henson. In the extended queue, if you ever got the chance to go in there, you could see how Jim Henson would just make faces out of anything. If you're a fan of Pizza Rizzo, that was an extra thing. Which I actually ate at when it was called Pizza Planet. Never ate it as Pizza Rizzo though. Speaking of my history with this whole ride, Muppet Vision 3D was one of the very first attractions I probably ever did. When I first went to Disney when I was around 5 or 6, I was scared of so many things, especially at Hollywood Studios. In fact, when I was at that park, the only things I really enjoyed were the studio tour, yes, I'm old, the Playhouse Disney show, which it was called at the time, and, of course, Muppet Vision 3D. There was something about it that just really made me like it as a young kid. And as a little kid that was scared of everything, That's quite impressive. I think it just hooked me instantly. There are so many things about it that just made it so unique. I mean, what other 3D shows, other than like Terminator, had live actors come in the middle of it? Now, Muppet Vision did change over time. The facade changed a little bit as the streets of America became Grand Avenue. We saw the loss of the balloon that was always on top, which was kind of sad. And they changed the original Muppet Vision 3D sign to the one that resembles the more modern-ish logo. It made the building just look so blank, where there's just bricks there and that little marquee. It didn't really do any favors. And then other than changing some of the posters and things on the inside, the attraction just stayed how it was. In fact, you could see during the pre-show videos, which are amazing by the way, it still says Jim Henson's Muppet Vision 3D.
Jim Henson's Muppet Vision 3D! Yeah, good! Yeah!
And that's because at that point in time, Disney did not own the Muppets, so they had to put that there, the Jim Henson Company. It was really all those things coming together that made this attraction work. So why did it close? Well, we'll get to the monsters in a second. But I guess one of the things, like I mentioned before, is the declining popularity of the Muppets in pop culture, which might be true, but Muppet Vision 3D was always a great capacity attraction. And in a park with few rides like Hollywood Studios, it was great having something like this where you could just hop in line and be done with the whole experience in maybe half an hour. Muppet Vision 3D was a people eater, which Disney needs to build more of, in my opinion. So I think losing an attraction like this will just lead to longer lines until, I guess, Monstropolis opens. Which, I guess we should now talk about this. Back during D23, it was announced that a Monsters Inc. door roller coaster was going to be coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios, which has been rumored ever since like the 2000s. I remember hearing about this rumor even when I was a young enthusiast. I think it's really cool that a door coaster is coming. However, we're also getting Monstropolis, and that is what is really killing Muppet Vision. You see, when they announced Monsters, they showed two different concept arts. One in the place of Muppet Courtyard and the other in Animation Courtyard. So you might be wondering, why didn't they go for the Animation Courtyard? I have no idea. But it just means that that area past Little Mermaid and past Disney Junior is going to be sitting empty even longer. Unless Disney Imagineering has something even better for that spot. I don't know why they decided to do this. But even so, linking the Monsters Inc. roller coaster to the Monstropolis land is just something that I don't see as the most necessary in my opinion. I mean, it's following a trend that we're seeing in the amusement industry of just linking amusement park rides to whole new lands. Really kickstarted by Universal and Harry Potter. So I guess why couldn't we have a land maybe where it was creatures? You had the Muppets, you have monsters. Just thinking out loud here. Even if the door coaster was necessarily tucked away, as long as it isn't seen in Galaxy's Edge, I think it would be okay. But we gotta link everything to monsters, so this whole area is gonna be changed. But what's coming to Muppet Vision? We have no idea. Disney has not announced the show that is going in this spot. There are plenty of rumors going on, but it's so weird that they haven't announced anything yet, especially for something that's as loved as Muppet Vision 3D. So I can't even give a definitive response as to whether the replacement would be worthy or not. And that is the reason why I think a lot of people are upset. Muppet Vision's disappearing, we don't know what's going in its spot. It's gonna remain empty, I guess, until this new random show comes in, which might be good. I don't want to completely bring down that show, but it just leaves everything in limbo. We need more information. And most importantly, where are we gonna get those mini pizzas? But even from when I was a kid to now, I've always had an appreciation for Muppet Vision 3D. In fact, during my last visit to the park during Disney After Hours, I made sure to do Muppet Vision, even though it wasn't a part of the Disney After Hours. I went there first, right away, to make sure I could just get it done. And that ended up being my last time doing it. In fact, on my phone, I didn't film the show, obviously, but I decided to make an audio recording of Muppet Vision, which still exists on here. If any of you want me to post that, I will on this channel, I don't care. And then the day finally came. June 7th, 2025 was a special day. I wasn't there, obviously, but just following along on social media, seeing so many Muppet fans come together. You had Steve Whitmire, the former voice of Kermit, in attendance, as well as Jim Henson's own daughter, who was the last person to enter the building. which I find very great. And the energy was just stellar. I saw at the very end of the night, they were all singing Rainbow Connection in front of the fountain, and it looked like everyone was really coming in force to support this attraction. But while I wasn't there, it's nice knowing people in the Disney College program, because one of my friends was actually in the last show, and here are some clips of that.
Welcome to Muppet Vision 3D! Hey, you're not even funny in 3D!
Oh, not you guys. How did you get here?
We entered a contest. Yeah! We lost! Yeah! 3D! That's terrible. You're right. It needs more sugar. What if you people like anything? Forever?
So yeah, I am definitely gonna miss Muppet Vision 3D, as it was probably my favorite 3D show at an amusement park. And we'll see what the future holds, but I am really hoping for the best for both the Monsters Land that's coming to replace it, as well as really just the legacy of this film entirely. Share your thoughts below on what you think of the closing of Muppet Vision 3D. Did you have an appreciation for this attraction like I did, or maybe you had a bigger appreciation for the attraction? Be sure to leave those down below, because I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. So with that being said, farewell Muppet Vision 3D. To the lovers, the dreamers, and me, rest in peace.